What up, home skillets? So far, my 24th year of life has been quite grand. By the way, my voice is at a lower volume than usual. I'm one of the loudest people ever because my roommate, Money, is still home. I don't want to yell. I said in a previous video that I would talk about where I'm at in my life every month or two. This is me talking about it. If you don't want to hear about my highlights of 2019 so far, click off this video because that's what I'm gonna talk about. Okay, if you're still here, let's get into it. The first highlight is I completed my first national tour ever. It was also the first professional project that I booked ever in my entire life, so it was a huge deal for me. If you're at all familiar with the American Girl dolls, my job for the first half of this year was being in a musical called American Girl Live. I got to play two incredible females. One of my characters, Rosie Imelda, aspired to be an astronaut and launched the first all-female mission to Mars. Rosie is also the first character I've ever gotten to originate in a musical, so she will always have a special place in my heart. After our writer, Sandy, created Rosie, I got to help bring her to life. Money is gone now, I can be louder, but not too loud because I live in an apartment. I am super proud of the Rosie that I helped create and bring to life, and I'm so happy I could share her with people all across the country who came to our show this year. And my other character is American Girl Nanea Mitchell. Nanea's backstory is that she survived Pearl Harbor, and in its aftermath, she was always willing to lend a helping hand. She is, of course, very special to me as well. Hula was the first form of dance form I ever learned in my life, and I got to dance hula as Nanea in the show. Nanea taught me to always be kind and compassionate no matter what, and Rosie reminds me that failure is okay because failing is part of the process of succeeding.
I tell myself that all the time because I fail a lot.
I'm incredibly grateful that American Girl Live was the first project in my professional career because playing these two strong girls every day for 6 months inspired me to be strong in my real life. It set the tone for the rest of the year, and it gave me the confidence I didn't even realize I was lacking until the show was in my body and I was doing it every day for 6 months. So I'm gonna try and bring a little Rosie and a little Nanea into my everyday life.
Just a little dash of Rosie, a little dash of Nanea here and there.
Another highlight was just seeing America. We performed in so many cities across the United States. I think my fave would have to be Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because we had some of our best audiences there. Concord, New Hampshire, Charlotte, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, and Kansas City, Missouri were also some faves. Kansas City is known for its barbecue, so go to Kansas City, best get you some barbecue. I recommend Jack Stack. And of course, Orlando, Florida, because Disney. Can you tell I love Disney?
We have Mulan, we have Rapunzel, we have Iago, we have Coco.
My friend Tam Bam gave this to me. Oh, I think my other roommate Lils came home. We have to be quiet again. I used one of our days off in Orlando, Florida to volunteer for Give Kids the World, which was another highlight for me. Give Kids the World is this magical place where families who are in Orlando for their wish trips, granted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, typically stay. When I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with a blood cancer called Burkitt's lymphoma, and Make-A-Wish granted me my wish to go to Disney World. Give Kids the World was actually completely booked at the time of my wish trip during the summer of 1999, but my parents and I did get to visit anyway. So I thought, what better way to spend my day off than going to Give Kids the World to volunteer 20 years after I was declared cancer-free and my Disney World wish was granted. It was just a magical experience altogether. And of course, after our show in Orlando, we did make it to Disney, which is where, finally, after all these years, I learned how to roll my R's, which should be considered another highlight of this year. After I finished American Girl Live, I traveled to Europe with my family to celebrate my cousin slash hermano, Nico. He graduated from college and got a job, so that's why we were celebrating. In Italy, we visited Porto Venere and Portofino. In France, we visited Nice. What were the other places? Nice, Provence, and Sète. And in Spain, we visited Valencia and Palma de Mallorca. Palma de Mallorca or Palma de Mallorca? I don't know. All of it was grand. Then after Europe, another highlight was my summer job back home in the Bay Area. Yes, I did live at home in the Bay Area this summer, which was fabulous because I love being at home with my family and my dogs. While I was home, I worked at a day camp as a camp counselor, which, if you know me, you know I love working with kids. I am going to adopt so many kids one day, and then I'll really be Mama Shell. Another highlight was visiting the motherland, the Philippines, in July. We stayed in my grandparents' house, so seeing them was delightful. We also visited the province of Pangasinan, which is where my grandfather grew up, and we got to see his childhood home and everything. And we also spent one day visiting the Aita tribe of Pampanga, and another morning visiting a community in Tondo, Manila. I think I'm gonna do a separate video on those two experiences later on because I want to tell those two stories in particular in further detail. So more on those experiences in a future video. One last thing that happened in the Philippines is this. Anyway, let's try this again. Oh, there it is. Do you see it? I'm not showing my nails because I haven't redone them yet. So I told myself that I'd get a tattoo relating to the first professional project that I book as a working actor. The tattoo is of the constellation Cassiopeia, and the reason it's on my body is because it's the same constellation that was painted above my character Rosie's bunk bed on the set of American Girl Live. So that constellation was above my head for about 6 months, and now it is permanently on my leg. And since Rosie wants to be an astronaut, an outer space tattoo kind of makes sense. Rosie is also Filipino American like me, so I got the tattoo in the Philippines. Not only does Rosie have a special place in my heart, she also has a special place on my leg. All in all, great year so far. Good job 2019, you haven't failed me yet. Now, as you can probably tell, I've been on a high for most of this year. The reason I'm making this video is that I just moved back to New York City, and to be honest, I've been a little nostalgic the past few days. I booked American Girl Live in September 2018, so it's been about a year since the project took over my life. If you're an actor watching this, you probably understand what it's like being so happy to actually have a job within your field, especially when it's a project that you end up being really passionate about. You put everything you are, your heart, your soul, your mind, your body into this character and into the project. And then when the project's done, it's kind of sad. I saw someone with a Nanea doll on the train yesterday, and I went, Nanea, are you trying to make me cry, girl? But I am, of course, excited for what's to come. I'm excited to be living with two of my best friends from the show. I'm excited to have a survival job, even if it is a job where rude humans come and tear you apart occasionally. I work at a tourist trap in Times Square, for those who are wondering. So you can imagine the kind of characters I get sometimes. Those characters are assholes. But even though I complain about it, it is still a job that I can survive on while I keep auditioning and taking voice lessons and workshops and all that jazz to keep honing the craft. I'm excited for the holiday season in New York and snow, and I'm excited for whatever the next project may be, whenever the hell that is. I am also way more confident than I was at the beginning of last year when I first moved to New York, so that helps a lot. It's gonna be tough, but we will get through it. And by we, I mean Stacy and I. Stacy and me? I can't remember how to speak English. Anyway, as usual, if you like me, stay tuned to see if I'll post. If you think I suck, I didn't force you to watch this. Y'all are really pretty, and remember to spread love, kindness, and positivity. Ciao for now. Correct. By the way, I mentioned in my last video that I lost my food journal in Wabash, Indiana. I didn't. I found it in my childhood home in a bin in my garage. What happened was I probably must have left it out at home during holiday break before going back on tour, and my mom saw it and stuck it in a bin in the garage. I found it a few weeks ago while looking for crap to ship to New York. Here it is on my foodie adventures. I'm just gonna add finding my food journal to the list of 2019 highlights now. On the other hand, I forgot the password to the joint Foodstagram that I promoted last time. So Christine, if you're watching this and you remember our password, I would love if you could text it to me. Okay, bye!